extension of private property rights to those excluded in the past, as is inherent in clause 25 of the Constitution. Remember that this has been a contentious issue, and the DA has been quite clear even when this motion was debated in Parliament, where Parliament resolved to adopt that there should be land expropriation without compensation. Remember the fallout that caused between the EFF as well as the DA in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro Municipality. Now the DA has today now decided unanimously, as indicated by Ethel Trollop actually, who is chairing this session, that it was a unanimous decision that there's absolutely nothing wrong to Section 25 of the Constitution, and the DA-led government will protect Section 25. And as we've been indicating earlier on as well, that the DA leader Mmusi Maimane had indicated before that should the Land Reform Committee on that will be looking at this land expropriation without compensation after its roadshows adopt and give to Parliament a report that says Section 25 of the Constitution must be amended, they will challenge that report in a court of law. But let's just take a few steps back and speak about another very critical issue, which was an issue that was discussed and also adopted here at the DA's Federal Congress, and that has to do with a city-led economic growth agenda. And of course, it was a motion that was brought forward by Soli Msimanga, who is the Tshwane mayor, and supported by Herman Mashaba, the mayor of Johannesburg. Let's just quickly speak about this, and Herman Mashaba joins me now. Thank you so much, Mayor, for joining me this afternoon. Let's speak about this issue around decentralizing public finances.
I think it's important for us, with the experience running the city with a multi-government coalition arrangement in the city of Johannesburg. At the same time, you have the province that belongs to another party, and you've got the national government. And you look at the city of Johannesburg. Johannesburg, over the last 130 years, has been responsible for driving the economy of this country. But at the same time, we've got to rely on provincial and national government for funding to drive some of the critical infrastructure programs. So what we are saying is we would like the cities to be given the responsibility, particularly, I think, big cities like Johannesburg. But at the end of the day, it should not really be just about Johannesburg. All the cities throughout the country must be the ones responsible. Let national government does the distribution of the funds going into the cities, for the cities to be able to decide how to drive economic activity in their respective metros or cities.
Yeah, earlier on, you also spoke about the issue when you were actually on the podium. You spoke about these municipal courts, and you said that you need to be capacitated as a city.
Absolutely. In fact, I think for me, people sometimes think I'm joking when my personal feeling that a city like Johannesburg, with over 5 million people, with a huge budget of just under 60 billion rands, without any doubt, yes, we've got at the moment 5 municipal courts that are functioning. We need really more. But I believe very strongly that as a city, we need more prosecutorial responsibility. We need our own prisons to be able to really deal with some of petty crimes that actually happen. In the event that you steal from the city of Johannesburg, I can prosecute you, put me in my own jails, and actually control the whole process. Right now, I have to rely on national government to be able to carry out certain responsibilities, and when we are failed, what else do I have a choice on? I arrest, as a city, we arrest a criminal today. The following day, the guy is back in the streets. We cannot operate in this manner, more especially a big city like ours.
Don't you run the fear then, or the risk rather, of creating another federal state within South Africa, where you have a city that is in charge of how prosecutions are run, that's in charge of its own finances, which sits now with a larger than the 6 billion rand current budget that you have?
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, without the cities driving economic growth, because this resolution is about actually getting the cities to drive economic performance of the whole country. As a city of Johannesburg, I'm sure you heard my speech earlier on this morning. When I took over at administration, as part of my 9 priorities, I committed the city of Johannesburg to enjoy a minimum of 5% economic growth by 2021. But then I sit with a situation where, to a large extent, a lot of national issues that are making it difficult for me to really drive this process. But at the end of the day, right now, with or without this constitutional amendment at this point in time, we've got to wait for 2019 to come through so that we can have a change of government. What we as a city of Johannesburg has committed to actually be the Johannesburg that is going to drive the economy of this country.
What do you do in the meantime, in the absence of the DA governing the national government?
Well, I think one thing that it's actually quite interesting that I actually raised. For me, it's a low-hanging fruit. Take back that inner city of Johannesburg. The city of Johannesburg, I'm sitting with over 300,000 housing backlog. I sit with the city, hijacked building, empty buildings. I have the private sector with massive funding available. Take back these buildings. Actually, we're in the process right now in the city of Johannesburg expropriating some of the buildings that are standing idle. We cannot find the owners. Turn them into a construction site. Invite the private sector. Put in money into those buildings. Employ our people. Create artisan training programs. We as a city will be responsible for ensuring that we control the type of rentals that must be charged to our people. What is important is actually drive entrepreneurial development. Right now, majority of our entrepreneurs in our communities don't have spaces where they can operate their businesses. You know, you can go into Soweto, Alexander, you find a guy running a manufacturing place in a garage. When we have a city where we can actually create proper infrastructure where small businesses can operate from. Today we have a doctor or a lawyer starting. Can you afford the rentals in Sandton rentals are too expensive. What I want to really drive this economic growth, bring entrepreneurs into our city. Let's actually ease we must refresh the issue of doing business in the city of Johannesburg. Let's make it easy for businesses to operate. That's why I've committed just over a week ago, launched the first opportunity center, where I've committed that by 2021 I must have 2 opportunity centers in every region, so that we can train our entrepreneurs to be able to run professional businesses.
Mayor, I've got 2 quick questions that I have to ask you, just in quick succession. First of all, expropriating buildings that have been hijacked. I need clarity on this. Are you saying that you expropriate these businesses without compensation, or are you saying that expropriate these businesses but will give you a just and equitable compensation?
Yes, absolutely. Look, I think we operate within the current constitutional framework where some of these buildings, they owe the city a lot of money because they've not been paying for rates and services for a long time. We're looking for the owners. If we cannot find the owner and he's unable to really pay us, the constitution of this country allows us to expropriate these buildings, and we're not going to apologize to anyone about it because we need affordable accommodation, we need student accommodation. If we can find you and you're willing to refurbish this building and pay us, that's fine, we won't take it. But if you're not in a position to pay us and you're not in a position to refurbish this building, without any doubt we will go to the courts for expropriation of this building.
And finally, how difficult has it been leading a coalition-led government?
Well, I think for me it's really been a privilege to be put into such a difficult environment that I think for me as a South African, it's actually my wish that we can see this kind of an arrangement come 2019, because you know why? Today in the city of Johannesburg, I'm the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. I have no opportunity to abuse my power. My success is totally dependent on negotiation and engagement of other political parties. Isn't that what South Africa wants? We've been obviously abused for many years. So as much as it's been really very difficult, but it has really been a very rewarding experience. It teaches one to really be humble, to be able to respect the views of other political parties.
I have to say, with your Free Market Foundation background, I was quite surprised when the city took a decision that there will be insourcing when it comes to certain services, including cleaning as well as security. Well done, Mr. Mayor. The EFF will tell you the same thing. That's the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Mashaba. It's back to you in studio.